The topic of my presentation is comparative study of carbon dioxide capture between amine modified Chitosan and hollow zeolite adsorbent. I am Dr. Romana Khan, working in Department of Environmental Sciences, ComSets, Abbottabad. We are familiar with the terms global warming, climate change, greenhouse gases. Global warming is a kind of a situation we are facing now, our generation is facing now. So we are quite familiar with these terms. So it is very important to establish among the greenhouse gases, the scientific community considers which one the culprit. So uh, mostly scientific community is agreed that carbon dioxide is responsible for global warming because they believe on this because of the fact that carbon dioxide concentration is increasing steadily in the after the post-industrial revolution. They said that for example, in 1980s, the carbon dioxide concentration was 338 parts per billion. But the situation is now in 2023, it has increased to 419 parts per million in the atmosphere. This raised the global temperature, like the average temperature of the oceans and lands, all the global temperature, nearly 1.09 degrees centigrade. And it is it is thought by the scientific community in general that this trend will continue and the carbon dioxide concentration will keep on rising. So will the global temperature, so will be the global warming and the climate change. Now there are a few other gases which are, because we know that greenhouse gases are 4 or 5 gases that are considered greenhouse gases. Among them, one is the moisture, the water content in the atmosphere. It is also considered as a greenhouse gas, and many may argue that the concentration of water or moisture in the atmosphere is 4% as compared to the concentration of carbon dioxide, which is only 0.04%. So the moisture may be more responsible for global warming as compared to carbon dioxide. However, this is against the scientific beliefs, because moisture in the atmosphere has a window in which the IR radiation can be released into the atmosphere. So that then exclude the moisture from the greenhouse gases. And then methane gas is the second culprit considered as responsible for greenhouse gases that is released from many agriculture activities and as well as waste dumping and some of the natural biological cycles. But methane concentration is almost constant in the atmosphere. It's not increasing. So that lead us to the conclusion that we need to control carbon dioxide emission in the atmosphere. So in the right-hand corner of the slide, you can see that the radiative forces of different air pollutants. And among them, you can see that carbon dioxide is the more prominent one. And it is kind of absorbing more IR radiations and increasing the temperature of the atmosphere. Now, it is established that it is very important to reduce the carbon footprint and to reduce the carbon dioxide emissions, which are mostly released into the atmosphere by fossil fuel burning. So we have to introduce certain technologies, and the CCS technologies are like very trending, like in the air pollution studies. Here we just introduce certain carbon capture and storing technologies. The very common one is direct carbon dioxide capture. It is established in few developed countries in the developed countries. Okay, carbon dioxide capture. Let me explain the mechanism of carbon dioxide capture. It is just in some areas, a huge fans are installed, which just absorb the air, and from the air, it can then further there is a section in which the absorbents are present, which absorb the carbon dioxide, concentrate it, cool it, and then they are further injected into the some geological formations. So this is the technology of direct carbon dioxide capture. On the bottom, there is the schematic diagram of explaining the process, and on the bottom of the slide, you can see that there is actual fans and the technology displayed. Now, after the carbon dioxide capture, it is then comes the next step of carbon dioxide storage. Where should we store this carbon dioxide? We can store this carbon dioxide into geological formations like the depleted oil and gas reservoirs, coal beds, and also in the oceans. Then some of the advantages of carbon dioxide, stored carbon dioxide will be some in food industry, but that is only limited. And then again, sometimes the injection of carbon dioxide in the fuel reservoirs, especially of natural gas, can help the gas to come to the surface, and it is easy for extraction of that gas. This technology has been introduced and it is used in certain developed countries. However, in Pakistan, we know that this technology could be very expensive. And generally, over the globe, this technology is considered as an expensive technology. However, still there is a lot of argument about that this carbon dioxide can be has a commercial value. It can be sold. Like if Pakistan been able to capture carbon dioxide, it can sell this carbon dioxide to other countries and to use it itself. So it is considered that this technology has some economic value. Then the carbon dioxide capture processes. I want to introduce different carbon dioxide capture processes because this will help to understand the whole processes and further how our work is related to carbon dioxide capture. So carbon dioxide capture can be post-combustion, pre-combustion, or oxy-fuel combustion based on the step of carbon dioxide capture introduced into the system. For example, in a system, if the flue gas is emitted and after flue gas emission, the carbon dioxide capture is operated, the carbon dioxide capture process is introduced, then this is considered as post-combustion. And the pre-combustion is where the fuel gasification step and the carbon dioxide capture steps is introduced before the actual furnace and emission of the flue gas. Then it is pre-combustion carbon dioxide capture. And lastly, there's oxy-fuel combustion. This is kind of more efficient, less emission technique in which carbon dioxide is captured after the flue gas emission, but the release is in smaller quantities. Now, our work is basically on the post-combustion carbon dioxide capture. For post-combustion carbon dioxide capture, we have different techniques. These are displayed in this slide. But our work is mostly related to the second technique in which we develop certain adsorbent to capture carbon dioxide, and new adsorbents are introduced for this process. The chemical adsorption process and physical adsorption process. So basically, we are more working, the work I'm presenting here is most on the physical adsorption. However, our lab is now involved in the chemical adsorption process as well, because we are also developing different metal oxide for the purpose. And now we are concentrated about polymer, more of polymer and zeolite. Now this is our study. We developed for carbon dioxide for carbon dioxide capture. We developed two types of adsorbents. The first one is hollow zeolite. These are mineral-based adsorbents, based basically of alumina and silica compound. And then we have developed Chitosan beads. Chitosan is considered as Chitosan is derived from chitin, the biological waste, and it is it is quite similar to cellulose compounds. So this is Chitosan beads. These Chitosan beads are polymer-based adsorbents. So why these compounds are selected? Because they are not toxic, they are low cost, they are easily available, and they have magnificent properties. For example, if we see the structure of alumina silica compounds, alumina is negatively charged here. And this negatively charged is then compensated by an alkali positively charged, which is a replaceable ion somewhere here. And this alkali then interacts with carbon dioxide and facilitates carbon dioxide adsorption. So this positively charged alkali is kind of act as a base and it attracts the acidic carbon dioxide. Whereas for Chitosan compounds, this polymer is basically basic in nature. So because of its basic properties, it attracts the acidic carbon dioxide gas. Carbon dioxide gas is an acidic gas. Now to further enhance, carbon dioxide is a very inert, stable gas. So the adsorption of the carbon dioxide gas is a bit challenging. So we have to select our adsorbent material very carefully. And we have prepared, zeolites are natural minerals, but we have prepared hollow zeolites. Hollow zeolites are a new generation of zeolites compounds, which are spherical in shape, hollow from inside, and it has a large surface area, and its surface can act as a very efficient adsorbent for carbon dioxide. For Chitosan beads, we have developed Chitosan beads, spherical in shape, and we have modified it to single-wall carbon nanotubes to further enhance the efficiency of Chitosan beads. Both the Chitosan beads modified with single-wall carbon nanotubes and hollow zeolites were further modified with monethanol amine. That is why we chose to modify the zeolite, hollow zeolite and Chitosan beads, because literature review led us to the information that carbon dioxide has a certain attraction toward the amine group, toward the nitrogen group, and it can interact with the nitrogen from the amine group, and the bonding efficiency between the amine, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide will further enhance the adsorption of carbon dioxide. So we have prepared these materials. There are series of material, not a single compound. There was pure Chitosan and a number of composites, and then there was hollow zeolite, and then a number of different modified composites. This is the summary of the synthesis process. For hollow zeolite synthesis, we use the hydrothermal synthesis process. Hydrothermal synthesis process first convert the material into sheet form, and then with the pressure and temperature, it kind of rolled the sheets in the form of the balls. So this technique was used at an elevated temperature and pressure technique to develop the hollow zeolite. Chitosan beads were generated by the hydrolysis of Chitosan. After the preparation of our adsorbent, we need to confirm the different physiochemical techniques that our design materials are synthesized successfully. So for first, I call it a fingerprint analysis. We do the XRD analysis, X-ray crystallography analysis. So the crystalline peaks, they confirm the actual synthesis of the design material. So here, among all the composites, I have chosen a selective uh, data to present. These are the holozeolite and holozeolite composite 3 modified with amine that is highlighted in red. The crystalline peak perfectly confirmed the formation of holozeolite. And the modified holozeolite, we observed that the peak intensity is decreased and the peak width have been increased, which confirmed the strong interaction of holozeolites with amine. So they confirmed that they are successfully incorporated into the holozeolite network, basically on the surface. Then Chitosan, single walled, modified with amine and Chitosan beads. They were prepared and they also show uh, uh, the representative peaks of Chitosan. And also, when we modified it with the single walled carbon nanotube, we saw a peak that corresponds to single walled carbon nanotube that is 25 at 25 degrees 25 degrees. So that confirms that the Chitosans were successfully modified with single wall carbon nanotubes uh, because the ethanol amine was very limited quantity. So we didn't observe any distinctive peaks that can be attributed to that. The SAM analysis to understand the morphology of our synthesized material. So we can see that holozeolites are spherical in shape and mesoporous, and Chitosans are in the bead form, and they are also mesoporous. With a Chitosan, modified Chitosan, we can see the dangling single wall carbon nanotubes that are attached to Chitosans from one end, and they are dangling kind of available to capture the carbon dioxide. Modified zeolites, a little bit shape is changed, more smooth, the gaps, the mesoporosity is a little bit decreased, but the shape remains the same. Particle size distribution of holozeolites, because they are very small nanomaterials. So we can see that the unmodified holozeolites, they are more smaller in size, but the modified, the size has been increased a little bit towards 825 nanometer. This is our adsorption setup. This is now a schematic diagram. Though this looks like a one slide, but there's a lot of effort in developing this setup and stabilizing to get the reproducible results, because working with air contaminants are very difficult. We have a nitrogen cylinder and carbon dioxide cylinder. Nitrogen cylinder is basically introduced to dilute or set up the desired concentration of carbon dioxide into the system. Then we have this mixing chamber. There are several flow meters to control the flow rate and the actual reactor, adsorbent batch reactor. And then there is a carbon dioxide analyzer to analyze the difference in carbon dioxide emissions. This is the actual setup. This is the reactor dimensions. These are the results. These are significant results of modified holozeolites. There are a number of composites that were synthesized, and among them, we have found that if we compare the pure pristine material with the composites, we can see that the composites show a very better behavior in terms of carbon dioxide adsorption. And we have observed that the certain concentration of amines are favorable for better performance of the adsorbent. There is the second graph. This shows the modified Chitosan beads adsorption capacity through breakthrough curve. So here we can see that again, pure Chitosan was able to capture carbon dioxide, but the composites show much better absorption behavior and to a much a longer time. They were active for a much longer time. This is the tabulated form. The Chitosan adsorption capacity, milligram per gram. And we can see here the best result we obtained was the Chitosan composite 3, in which we got the 19 milligram per gram of carbon dioxide captured. And for hollow zeolite, we found out that the hollow zeolite, the mineral-based composites, show the good carbon dioxide capture capacity, but as compared to the polymer or carbon-based composite, the adsorption capacity was a little bit reduced. So the conclusion is that both the composites exhibit better adsorption performance as compared to the pristine material. Among the composites, the polymer base was found with improved efficiency. And among all the prepared adsorbents, the composite 3 with a little bit higher concentration of amine was found to be best efficient. And we considered that the shape of the adsorbent and the modification both influence the absorption ability of the adsorbents. And this absorption, this is the 1 year work on, and we have started this work 1 year back. So we will be planning to study other parameters such as the carbon dioxide pressure and temperature for further study and check the influence of these parameters on the carbon dioxide absorption efficiency. Currently, we are now in our lab, we are preparing more different type of adsorbents, for example, ferrites, for example, bacterial cellulose, and we are just preparing different set of adsorbents to further increase and check the efficiency of those adsorbents, again, carbon dioxide capture efficiency. Thank you. And we have conducted this study. The funding was provided by PSF, and this was in collaboration with Tehran University. Thank you.